It's a nice time of year where you get all this renewed interest and all these new visitors again. All of a sudden it looks unfamiliar and you start to see things in a new light. Some of the leaves start to drop, and so you can see things that you hadn't been able to see before. And yeah, just sort of a breath of fresh life.
We came down from West Lafayette, and we just decided to take the day off and just do some color tour of Indiana.
We do different routes anywhere where the color's peaking in Indiana. You can't ever pick the seasons, since every year is so different. It's like a fingerprint. No season is the same, no fall is the same.
Walnuts will go sort of without any warning. They'll yellow and fall real fast. Your sycamores start to go, and then you start getting into that big grand color change that we all know. So you can't beat the maples. They get that bright yellow. The sassafras turn a beautiful orange, and this is a really good year for the reds of the oaks. They're almost a deep burgundy this year. And you get to hear the powerful water rushing, and what's special about this time of year is you get to do it under this canopy of gold and green and auburn. It's a beautiful time of year and a really beautiful place to be.
There's a lot in Indiana to be followed, and a lot more undiscovered things, a lot of trails and adventures that Indiana people, Hoosiers, don't know about.
I think we maybe have a good week or more left in us, but it's hard to say. You know, it depends on the conditions. All this rain we're getting might knock them down, the wind can blow them off, but hopefully they'll persist a little longer so you can come visit one of our state parks.
I'd walk to the bank in Fountain Square, and you'd cross this interstate where 2, 4, 6, 8 lanes of this traffic. Really loud because it reverberates off of the bridge walls. And then you'd come to the middle, and there was this forest, an urban forest in the middle of the city, this really nice, cool forest thing. I climbed over the guardrail, walked out to the point, and said, wow, this should be a vista or a viewing stand where people could come and watch traffic. Well, that's what we're trying to do, is reunite the neighborhood. Although I don't know these derelicts, who they are, where they came from, but they're just enjoying the idle, watching cars.
When I first heard about it, I was like, interesting. And then it was like a cliche that idea is just crazy enough it might work. It's just what we need, another community gathering spot. It's a good spot.
Now saddle me my pony, Bill, we got a long road.
I'm Junkrat from Overwatch.
Lando Calrissian.
This is Rey from Star Wars.
I'm dressed up as Link.
Scribe and a Paladin from the Brotherhood of Steel from Fallout.
I'm a folk. Just an original character I designed, just kind of pieced things together and just kind of had fun with it.
It's like dressing up really weird and having a great time, and everyone's just accepting of it. Everyone loves it. Everybody's reaction to, especially my hearts.
BB-8. I dressed up as her because she's the first female Jedi with a lightsaber, and if I had been 10, I would have renamed myself from Rachel to Rey.
It's really hard to get down the hallways sometimes. You get stopped about every 10 people that are fans that really want to take some shots.
Thank you so much.
I've been cosplaying for probably about 20 years. I started with Renaissance festivals and just evolved into anime conventions, gaming conventions, and on until it became a side business. I am extremely hot. If I was to take off this helmet, I would be drenched.
His eye for being able to put all the pieces together and make it functional, because a lot of what you see with these types of cosplay is, you know, it's made for gameplay, it's made for screenplay, but it's not actually functional. So you have to kind of take those ideas and turn it into actual people can wear these.
Bye, Benny!
It's really rewarding when you're done and you look at what you've created. It's just like, wow, I can't believe I did that.
The Charles C. Dean Wilderness is the only congressionally designated wilderness in the state of Indiana. It's here, it's special, it's here for recreation opportunities. The management and goal behind the Charles C. Dean Wilderness is to provide opportunities for solitude.
One of the reasons I get out here is to unplug. Today I'm going to try the Peninsula Trail. This is a nice trail. Hey there. I used to hike when I was like in my 20s, and then went through middle age and gained a bunch of weight and said I need to get some exercise, but I want to do something that's enjoyable. So I started hiking just to get the exercise and be out in the wilderness, and I love it.
I've grown up camping my entire life, but not backpacking. This is actually my first real backpacking trip. It's really awesome because we live in Lafayette, so there's just not as many things to do around there. There's not as many rolling hills, and so coming here is just a different change of scenery.
Well, I'm from Oregon originally. Indiana, I think, has 0.3% national forest, public land, versus Oregon is 50%. So it's definitely different. Just look around, places like this are beautiful, so it's nice.
It's just empowering. I really like being able to take everything I need on my back, just depending on myself.
I just got here this morning. I got an early start on the weekend. Yeah, Demons is one of the gems of Hoosier National Forest.
I just really like the peacefulness, and it's just really quiet and enjoyable.
It's just peaceful. Not even necessarily getting out away from people, but getting out away from the noise of the city. Just feels just how it's supposed to be.
This is actually called a bevel gear.
For clockmaker J.J. Smith, every clock has a story to tell.
I get a rush going up in these towers all the time.
Stories told by iron and steel, slowly turning through the decades.
It's a lot of sweat, blood, and tears went into building this thing.
The inner workings ensconced in history, names scrawled in graphite lead.
You can see where the old weight stacks are, you can see the old knob and tubes.
While updated for modern convenience, many pieces are 1896 originals. It's been the focal point of this community for about 122 years. Until about a month ago when the hand stopped working. Now today, people in Greenfield will see this old clock tell time once again. The fix was simple. A loose set screw and a couple of broken hands.
Drives up to that drive shaft that you see driving here.
For County Commissioner Brad Armstrong, that maintenance is a must. Not for the service the clock provides, but the symbol it's become.
You know, it's really the heart of the county. It has historic significance, and we're very proud of it.
He says the maintenance is a labor of love, ascending into cold, dark spaces on 19th century approved ladders.
The day it quits working, we typically hear.
Because gears and motors may break, but pride in one's community is as constant as time.
When they get the call,
not really a shift goes by.
Yeah, at least once a shift for sure.
Engine 84, overdose. These men and women know they have only minutes to respond.
Could you back me on to engine 11?
They look dead. They look like they're dead.
Firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics, the lifesavers, the antidote angels of Indianapolis.
She's got a good strong pulse. Let's wake up!
Their magic weapon, this life-saving drug.
I call it the miracle drug.
IV naloxone, so we'll start an IV and we'll go directly into the vein with this.
And they're on the front lines of the state's crippling heroin epidemic. We spent multiple days with them to show you just how powerful and deadly this drug is, and how these first responders are risking their lives to save yours.
A lot of times there's a lot of chaos. People are kind of running around.
Overdose, DDO 2. Just before 1 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, a call goes out for an overdose, then quickly changes to cardiac arrest.
They're blue because they're not breathing.
Indianapolis Fire Department EMS duty officer Kevin Schaefer is one of the first to respond. We're with him in the car, lights and sirens on, speeding through intersections, a dramatic race to save a life. A woman is found lying on the ground, unconscious and barely breathing, after one round of naloxone through her nose.
It's been about 2.5 minutes since we gave her the nasal.
Paramedics give her naloxone through an IV. Seconds later.
Sit up for me, come on.
We're gonna get you to our bed, okay?
Open your eyes.
You overdosed.
The drug works immediately. The woman wakes up and is able to stand and even walk down the stairs on her own.
It's intense, it's quick, you know. We got to get that Narcan in there before that heart stops.
The drug reversing the effects of a heroin overdose. This woman went from nearly dying to recovering almost immediately. These angels breathing life into her.
Narcan's a wonder drug. I have not seen a chance when Narcan has not worked on heroin.
But not everyone is this lucky. More potent types of heroin mean more doses of naloxone are needed. At more than $30 a dose, the drug is expensive. It's used almost once a day throughout the city. At this house, Friday night around midnight, a familiar sight for first responders.
This is the second run to this house in a week.
We're with IMS duty officer Jeff Musar. He rushes into a house to find a woman unconscious from a heroin overdose. Her husband in shock from taking the drug, both needing doses of naloxone. Listen as Musar tries to calm down the man high on heroin.
So this is a good lesson. If you learn from this, then you just probably did yourself a favor. But if you don't learn from this, you're in a world of hurt.
These guys are going to take care of you. These where they only took some heroin. We don't know how much. He's done it a bunch more. This isn't the first time he's done it.
There you go. Say, woke her up.
It's gonna be okay. Stay alive.
The woman is rushed to the hospital in critical condition. The second near-death experience for her in a week. The sad reality that happens far too often in the Circle City. Indianapolis EMS paramedics Brittany Harmon and Chelsea Brown are stationed in a community where this is a common occurrence.
We do pick up the same people that have overdosed time and time again that we've had to transport to the hospital and give Narcan.
The wonder drug saving lives from the hands of these angels, but it only goes so far, and it's not the answer to curing the epidemic.
They literally do not understand that there are huge consequences. It's like they know that Narcan will bring them back.
As overdose patients are rushed to the hospital, crews hope it's the last time they see them.
It's an educational experience to me. I always try to educate them that, if no one was there to call 911, that you probably would have died.
That's the problem we're having right now, is how do we help those people that truly, genuinely know that they have a problem and want help.
What I care for is, saving them.
Hoping a dose of naloxone will bring a dose of reality.
And the last time it was reported cardiac arrest. So she survived that one. But not so sure this time.